Hey everyone, Mary Moet in Blessed Be. I was in such a rush, I put Mary Moet, so I decided that's a word that I have invented. That means wonderful and abundant blessings to all. That's my
Yes.
definition.
And we're hearing some feedback, so double check your mute button.
No, I hear I'm muting it now. There we go.
Okay, good.
Anyway, happy New Year, happy new moon tomorrow, happy. And we are so happy to be here with you today. We've missed you all terribly. And now here we are with our show. I apologize for running late today, but we've had some weird things happen, but it's all good. And here we are. We have conquered and prevailed. So I'm Goddess Rhonda, of course, and as always, we have with us our beautiful Goddess Star.
Hi, how are you guys doing? It's so happy to be here tonight. We missed you guys so much. You have no idea, because you've become part of the family and part of the show, and we have not been here. So welcome back, everyone, and good to be here tonight, okay? And again, happy everything. We're happy. Okay.
And so, as always, before we begin, we like to cast a circle of protection around us. All hail, our lords and ladies of the East, our brothers and sisters, our brother and patron, the sacred element of air, namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. We charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is. So mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be. Whoops. I am so sorry, everyone. Just 1 second. I dropped my incense, and I'm making sure I don't have a fire here. Give me 1 quick second.
Yes, don't set the house on fire.
No. I don't want to do that. It went so far away. Okay, hold on. Okay, now that I've made everything safe, my apologies again.
That's okay. All right. That's all right.
Yeah. All right. All hail our ladies and lords and ladies of the South, my brother and sisters, my brother and patron, the sacred element of fire. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge you, please cause a barrier of protection to all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. So mote it be.
So it is. So mote it be. All hail, our lords and ladies of the West, our brothers and sisters, our sister and patron, the sacred element of water. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. We charge thee, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you. So it is. So mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be. All hail, our lords and ladies of the North, my brother and sister, my sister and patron, the sacred element of earth. Namaste. Divine honor, love, joy, peace, and respect to thee. I charge you, please cause a barrier of protection through all of our walls that face your direction, from corner to corner and end to end. Let peace and protection reign herein. Thank you, and so it is. So mote it be.
So it is. So mote it be.
And I forgot my atame, so I'm using my fingers.
Hey, the real atame.
Yes.
Now bring down the divine white light from the sacred source of all well-being and fill all of our spaces with peace and protection always. So it is. So mote it be.
So it is, and so mote it be.
So we are hoping that you guys have had so far an awesome new year, that you're really working on your resolutions. Maybe next week we'll do a resolution show to help you on your way and to keep you rolling. But for tonight, we're gonna kick back. We're going to have a nice glass of wine or whatever it is that you choose.
Yes, it's my wine.
Yay, toast.
And as usual, and I'm toast, honey. And as usual, I'm not telling you guys the name.
It looks really good, though. It looks nice and dark. It looks good.
I know. It's such a good wine.
And we're just going to talk about some random questions and things like that. And please join us in our chat room. Now, if you are on your desktop or a laptop, it should be to the right of the screen. If you're on a phone, I think you would have to scroll down. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how it looks on a phone. But please, by all means, join our chat room and join us in our conversations. We have really great conversations going on in our chat room. It's like a whole family in there. By all means, please join. State your opinion. State what you feel the answers are. So we're going to go over some random questions, and we are going to try to finish that superhuman.
Yes.
That we arrogantly thought we could do it in one show, and I think it's the 5th show now.
Yeah, right.
Show 5, but we are going to do it. I'm determined we're going to do it. So let's start off our first random question, which is, would the world be a better place if witches were in charge? I got to think, there's so much crap going on. We've got, I don't even know what to call them in the White House, making decisions, saying the most awful, awful things. And I started thinking, we as witches, we like to heal, we like to help, we like to organize, we like to fix people's lives, fix our own lives too, of course. We like to prosper like everyone else. Would the world be a better place if there were people, if there were magical people? I know not everyone calls himself a witch, so I want to make that clear. If you call yourself a metaphysician, a light worker, a wizard, a warlock, a magician, whatever, to me, they're all witches. So that's my opinion. But whatever you call yourself or designate yourself as a magical being, do you feel the world would be a better place if we had magical people, spiritual people in charge, as opposed to the mundanes that we feel are in there now? So as always, got a star. I love to.
I know you have us. Okay. I will tell you honestly an emphatic no. I don't think witches are going to do, or magical people are going to be going to do any better, or maybe it might be a little bit worse. I don't know. I think that as a group of people, there are so many different thoughts, or we are all coming from so many different avenues, that I think if given that kind of position, I think just as how power, that whole thing about power can corrupt, I think it can do so with a magical person just as well. Because again, we all come with our practices and our traditions, or whatever it is that we want to call it, from so many different angles, that I think that and everyone in some ways, many of us may think in a certain way of helping and healing, but there's a lot of people, or magical people, that are not thinking to help. They're just thinking to just help themselves. So I don't know if necessarily if a magical person should be in the White House. I think if anything, and maybe it could be a mixture of everyone, advising that person, spiritual people, magical people, and the mundanes, muggles, or whatever, all assisting and advising, and helping make that president make the decision, or to help collectively. I don't think, and also right now, it just feels like one person is making that decision, and it should never be. The country's never ran with one person dictating whatever. And I don't think in general, I don't think it should be that way, in the sense of a magical person being that. And in some ways, it might be even more worse, because depending on who that magical person is, that's when you finally see who they really are. And now they're using magical powers to do other things. You know what I mean? I just think that unless we know the true character or intent of that person, whether they're muggles or magical being, um, I don't think it's a wise idea. And that's just my point of view with it, because I guess because like if you take a look around of what we deal with on a daily basis or on a yearly basis or on a monthly basis, whatever it is, when we come in contact with all the people that we deal with, we run into so many different energies and people that are good, bad, or just plain old chaotic, or just whatever it is. And we kind of, some we go, really nice to have met that person. Some we kind of like, okay, I'm not sure. And then some were like, oh my gosh, I would just want to walk away because there's nothing to discuss, just walk away. So yeah, I'm emphatically going with the word no. What do you think?
Well, I'm always a neutral, kind of ambivalent about it, but I actually disagree. I
Okay.
think that, I'm not saying just anybody. I'm talking about someone who has proven themselves to be spiritually mature, who has proven that they have done good works for the world. I'm not talking about some newbie that's, just starting out. I'm talking about someone who's been up there for a while. Usually you see our presidents that run in their 60s and 70s, someone who has actually had years and years to prove themselves that they are good people and they can make good choices and that they can make a difference in the world, because truly mature spiritual beings. And I know that there's good and bad, and we've got good witches, we've got bad witches. People are people regardless. They're going to have their personalities, they're going to have their traits. But I'm not saying let's elect, just anybody. I'm keeping the bad people out, of people who have proven themselves unworthy of such a position. But people who have proven true spiritual leadership, who have shown that they can make good choices, that they are mature and have kick-ass, badass powers that can protect the world, I'm more inclined to let them do it. Because I think right now, the person that we have, I refuse to call him president, the person that's sitting in there
I know, right?
right now, and even the ones, not all of them, but a lot of the ones that came before him, they're focused on business and money. They can give a rat's ass. In fact, from what I can figure out, they're all planning to destroy the earth, and they're going to go live on Mars, where they create this luxurious planet. They're going to leave our asses down here in the rubble that they have created. And so, I don't think that these people, because they are not, I think we as witches, caring witches, magicians, wizards, however you term yourself, and I mean those who actually care and have proven themselves to be true spiritual leadership, would look at the world as a whole and see what can be done kind of to balance things out and have everybody work harmoniously. And now we have, and even when you said, because I know that in the olden days, the kings and the royalty, they had spiritual advisors.
Right.
To me, since it was the spiritual advisors that were making the decisions, the person who was the king or the president or the emperor or whatever was a figurehead, because they weren't making the decisions anyway. They
Right.
had advisors making the decision. So why not just let those advisors be the ones that are like, okay, here's what we're going to do, or here's the best thing for us to do. Or maybe even instead of having a one-person president, maybe have a three-witch panel where you've got three witches sitting there together figuring things out, because it is a lot to heap on the head of one person.
Yeah.
So I think that we would be better off if we had someone who was spiritually mature, who actually cared about the earth, because these people don't give a rat's ass about the earth. We do. They actually cared about the people. They don't care. They care about how much money can I make today, how much money will I make tomorrow, and how much money did I make yesterday. As far as business goes, they do not care about us. They don't care if we have health insurance. They don't care if we have homes. They don't care. They're into their own thing. And I'll tell you, quite frankly, some of these people that have made it this high, you are not going to tell me that they have not had witches working for them, or they're not witches themselves.
Right.
Because I cannot, in my head, and I know you must, I speak for many people, I cannot figure out how this person got elected. Can't figure it out.
Yeah.
He is shown that he's a racist. He doesn't care about anybody. He just doesn't have a filter to his mouth. He insults everyone. And he did it while he was running. It's not like he pretended to be somebody else and got in office and changed. He showed who he was
from the very beginning. Yeah.
How did that happen? Somebody was casting spells for his ass. Sorry, but they were.
See, okay. And I understand what you're saying, but again, honestly, when you sit back and think about it, of all the witches that I have met, and just thinking in the elder community and some I have not met or have known about for many years, I can't think of any of them that could be the president. And that's honestly speaking, because when you finally meet them, they are ego-ridden, or they're not very business-minded people. And whoever it is that is a president or a collective group, maybe for once, maybe it's a group of 3 or 4 or 3 people, have it at an odd number so that a decision can be made without everybody siding on one side. But if it may be a 3-person panel or something like that, that might be different. But we have not really found a lot of witches out there. It's a rarity to find a witch that has got a business head, spiritually minded as well, one leg in both realms at the same time, and all of it at the same time. It's very rare. They're either all spiritual and have no business sense. We've seen it. How many times we've talked about this? They or whatever it is, and the country needs all of it, not just a spiritual mind to look at the world, but we need the world as well as, the planet to be taken care of, but as well as business sense to make things. Hey, like you said, we can't even figure out how that person got in because he has no business sense. No matter what people like to think, he was a professional bankruptcy artist. That was his business sense. That's all he ever did. Everything he touched went bankrupt at one point or another. So around the world, he's got a lot of bankrupt entities. So I have no idea how a person who has not much, has a business challenge, as a matter of fact, to get in there and talk about how successful he can take business to whatever it is when he has a host of failures of it. So, yeah, I believe something was done to assist him. He reached out to wherever and whatever he had to do. And he said he became like a chameleon and said whatever he had to say in each section. We don't need a chameleon. We don't need a person that's all spiritual or what. We needed a combination of things. And maybe you're right. Maybe it should not be one person. And we as a country, partially, a huge part of that is our fault, because I think we need to elect people or a person and then continue fostering and voting on different things and become part of the system all the way through. Don't just elect them and then go, okay, you got it now, and leave them there to solve everything that one person cannot do. It's not possible. So we may have that figurehead or the figureheads up there, but we all need to participate and make decisions for our country, which has not been the case majority of times. It certainly was not in Obama's time. Most people just kind of went, okay, you got it, and walked away and left them there hanging in the wind to do everything by himself, basically. So he didn't really have much of a support system. And the same thing if we elect a spiritual person on their own. I am sorry. Think about it in that realm. A lot of them may be spiritual, and there's a couple I could think of, literally a couple that I can think of, that are spiritually minded and really want the best for everyone, and live in a mundane set. But unfortunately, at the same time, the people I'm thinking about that would be wonderful for that position, they don't have that much of a business sense. They just don't. So we need a balance. And the few people that I've met that are spiritual people, supposedly, that are in the politics and either elected as a particular official or whatever it is, I don't see. I've met them, and I would not vote for them. I would not vote for them. So I don't know. I think it's a conundrum, and I honestly do not think right now that we have anyone that I know of, whether by if physically a person that I've met or not met, that I think would suit, that I know about background wise, that is suitable. If you can think of someone, please do. That will be covering all of that. I would love to figure that one out.
Well,
But since I cannot, that's the reason I'm saying it.
I don't know. I don't know anyone either who I feel is prepared for some, but I don't know everybody. My circle is fairly limited, but I do think that we do need people that actually care about the earth and the spirituality parts of things, as opposed to just how much money can we make today.
Absolutely.
We did have, and just to I thought of an example going back to Moses in the Old Testament. The way Moses and what happened with him was presented in the Christian church, and the 10 commandments, it'll be 12 commandments. I got 2 commandments that I want to add to those 10 commandments. So everybody make a note. I'll be writing to whoever I need to write to about that soon. But in the meantime, for those that with the 10 commandments, they put a whole different spin on things to make it work within Christianity. But it wasn't until I was invited to a Seder where they actually go over everything and you kind of relive everything. They make you eat salt water to taste the bitterness of the tears and all that, that I found out that whole confrontation between Moses and the Pharaoh was actually a competition between magicians and who had the best magic.
Right.
The Pharaoh had his people and Moses had his people, and they sat there trying to outdo each other with plagues and everything else. So Moses proved that, hey, my priests are stronger than yours, so therefore we win. That was one hell of a battle. It's never presented that way in the world.
Yeah.
But to actually go and listen to it from, the standpoint of the Jewish festival, the Seder table, I was like, I had no idea that this was a competition between magicians and who had the most powerful magic.
Yeah.
So looking at something like that, I could see where that can be brought in to this world, because we're always threatening people with missiles and things like that. They scared Hawaii half to death over the weekend.
Right.
With a false missile report, and we're always on the brink of war with somebody. And I'm not saying that, there are witches that are like, no, we're not going to harm anyone. There are plenty of witches that are ready to throw down out there, as evidenced by go on Facebook and see witch
I know. This is what I mean. Just think about it.
Constant witch wars. But I'm not saying put the witch war, the people who are just trying, who are the witch equivalents of the mundanes in the White House. I'm saying, like, if you got someone, Martin Luther King, who happens to be his birthday, or representative, happy birthday, MLK. If you had someone like him, let's say he was a witch, he would have been a great president. He would have. Gandhi, if you look at all of the spiritual leaders, the true ones that stepped up to the plate, they would have made marvelous, marvelous leaders if the other people, the nasty people, didn't kill them. And that is my only issue, is what would happen. I believe if we did get someone in there, I think someone would come and try to kill them, because people don't want a balance of power. There are those that want all of the power, and they don't care how much they have. It's never enough. Do you watch Game of Thrones? I love Game of Thrones, but I'm watching
I have not watched it at all.
It really is a true example of greed. It's about 7 kingdoms. Each
I remember you telling me,
own kingdom with castles and soldiers and everything else. That's not enough. They want to have all 7. Greedy. Why do you need 7 kingdoms when you have everything that you could possibly ever want or need right there
on your own? Yeah.
So we don't want greedy witches in there. I want people that are actually able to run the country and have enough juice that if someone threatens them, they can whip out their wand and say, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to go up against me? Is that what you want to do? Because I also have my well-trained witch army behind me, and we will kick your ass, so don't even think about it. there's other ways to fight. And I just really feel like we should have, but you know how I feel. I feel, we should, as witches, magicians, wizards, again, the magical folk, the magical community, I wish we would step up and be lawyers. And I mean, to come out and say, I'm a witch and I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, so that we could go to our own people and get healed and fix the way in our way. I think our biggest issue is to not be afraid. Do you think that we're just afraid to step up to the plate? Is that why we haven't done it yet?
I don't think we're necessarily afraid. I believe that we are so busy in our little corner of the world, learning all the things. I mean, look at both of us right now as an example. I think we'd be great as maybe educating ourselves and going political in some way, but I can't even fathom the time, because neither can you, because we're already so busy doing everything that we're doing, whether it's carving out a living for ourselves or learning more, because we're always learning and all the different things. I think most of us are like that. And the few that I've met that are as a lawyer or whatever it is, I've never met so many. I'm not going to use the word skanky, but I'm kind of using the word skanky.
The word skanky.
Yes, they just, it's not something I look up to, or I just walk away. I don't say anything. I just walk away. And the few that I've seen that are spiritual so-called people in the political arena, again, I just walk away. And I honestly, I'm biting my words with things that I know. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult thing, I would say. And that's why I think it should be not just magical people. I think we need a bit of representation of everybody to form a panel of presidents that run and govern the country in, so that one person or not one party is governing, but as a group, no matter what, you govern properly, you make decisions properly, good, bad, or indifferent, not based on race or your likes or dislikes, but rather the facts. And that is something I don't think the powers that be will allow. I think they're all so busy having that one figurehead. And if you look around the world, that's what it's been. I don't think I've seen any of them that has a governing party that represents everyone.
Now, what about this? So, it's still on topic, but I thought about it as you were talking. And now there is a big deal. If you go on the internet, anybody can Google it. You probably all heard of this. Of the build of a group called the Bilderberg Group and the Illuminati, and that truly going on is that these very intensely magical beings are actually running things and conducting the show of everything that's going on here. And I'm willing to believe I can believe kind of that, only because if you had said that to me before the person who's in the White House got into the White House, like, oh, well, yeah, whatever. I'm telling you, I cannot think of any logical reason that he got in there besides witchcraft. Honestly, I can't. Unless, and maybe it's because I'm in denial and I'm unwilling to believe that we have that many racist people in this country. And I might not want to believe it, so I'm willing to put the blame on someone else, because it's too much for me to imagine that in 2018, we have people saying, talking about shithole countries and things. I'm flabbergasted. I just can't believe he got in there on his own. I can't believe it. Do you think that there is a group of highly magical beings that are actually the ones, and not necessarily good ones either, looking at the way things are, that are actually running the government behind the scenes? What do you think about that?
I don't know. I've heard about the Illuminati for years, that they've been running things behind the scenes for years in one form or another. I have no idea whether that's true or not. But we've heard things over the years. We've seen movies, we've seen books, we've been, I've always believed, though, whether I believe it or not, or whether you believe it or not, I've always believed that there's a grain of truth in just about every story or myth.
Yes, I agree.
Whether it's the vampires or the werewolves or whatever, every grain of truth comes from something. Otherwise, where would it have come from in the first place? So with that mindset, I've always believed that if you, like children, you see how they say children can see and hear things that adults cannot?
Right.
Because they're not listening to the world at large about what's right and what's wrong. They're just seeing it as it's there. We are the
Right.
ones that as we grow up and grow out of it, we become that.
Right.
So yeah, that part is a bit mind-boggling in that sense, in the sense of what if they are behind all of this? And sometimes it's based on their agenda of what they want to, what are they trying to gain, or gain power on, or whatever. Because if you really think of beings behind the scenes manipulating things, or pushing buttons or different things, there's always an outcome. There's always a reason why someone's pushing or guiding people towards a particular thought or whatever it is, for a reason, whatever it is. I have no idea. Because I'm not in the know necessarily of what they are doing, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm still back to the emphatically no. Not wanting that magical being there, and I'm just, like you said, I don't know everyone, but I know of many, and I've met many, and the ones that I have met, I would hell to the no want them in up there. Hell to the no, no, no. And you know I want to use other words, right? But I'm just saying hell to the no. Because you sit there looking at them and going, oh my goddess, no. Um, hmm. Yeah. I guess I think I know too much. Oh man. I know too much about too many people, and it's made me where it kind of open your eyes to a lot of things.
Right.
And I'm all for one of each representative all together in there and advising and making a decision. Make it an odd number. Make it an odd number of people. But to have one of us up in there, no, I will not be comfortable with that. Just like I'm not in any way comfortable with that person that's in the White House right now. But that's worse in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hear what General in the chat room has to say about all this.
Yeah.
We have Goddess Monica, who says no on magically inclined in charge. People are good people. I'm sorry. People are people. Good people and bad are magically inclined. Very true. Mm-hmm. Orchid Girl says, I agree. Goddess Star. Monica says, mix it up. Yes, agree with Star. Orchid Girl says, that's how our ancestors in Africa used to do it. Kate says, I think of the Inquisition. Yeah, the Inquisition. That was rough. Those were rough days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am here says, let's say, what if there is some magical people at play and are trying to maintain the balance from so-called low vibration ones. I do believe that there are magical people in there working in there. I don't, they might be afraid because of political backlash to say that they do magic or anything like that. But you are not going to tell me that there are not people up in there burning candles and casting spells. I'm sorry. I know that they're in there. And I remember from a show, and I'm not sure who the guest was. It was one of our guests who said that they created a candle for Madonna who wanted to win an award, and that award was won. So that lets me know automatically that there are people, movie stars and entertainers that are using,
absolutely,
magic. And I know that there has to be politicians that are doing it too.
Yeah, so it's been like that since the beginning, since there's been any particular reigning person.
Absolutely.
They've always had magical advisors.
Always.
Guiding them, and they listen to them emphatically. They have their ear. So I think it should just be that position. It's always been like that. It's worked in the past,
Right.
good, bad, or indifferent. Some of it has been not great. Some of it has been good. Um, and some of it has been led by fear or money,
Mm-hmm.
because not all magical workers work for the good of all. Some of them have been led by, oh, I'll make sure you're rich beyond your wildest dreams, or um, help, what's his name? I believe Napoleon was led by a magician to avoid being killed for the longest time and was able to do a lot of the things that he did. So was Hitler. Um, so some magical people can be coerced into different things. Maybe, and we believe that the person that was working with Hitler was doing so under duress. So I'm not sure.
It's something
You
to
know,
think about, at least, having some kind of a panel or something. But I
and
just,
also, one of the things too is if you look at any human being, I don't care who they are, unless they are a baby. We all have good and bad in us, or not say good and bad, but faults. We've all had things that we failed at or worked at that has worked out so well. We're not proud of every moment of our lives. We try our best. That's all we can do, is try our best.
try our best. That's
And no
true.
matter who we are, people can find things on us and use it against us if they don't like us.
Right.
We have walked this earth, and as far as we know, we've done nothing but try to help people. But yet there are people that have hated me and I've never even met them.
Right.
Never met them, never, and the hate that you see on their faces, you're like, what the hell? What have I don't even know you. Or some people who have known you, know what you're like, but for whatever reason resent and hate you. And you're standing there again going, what have I done to you? And they've created this whole scheme of things that is so not true. And they would say it. And by the time they're done, even if you and I decide to run as a political figure, we would be damned and we would not be able to run because they're so busy taking us down. It's that, what I remember they talked about the crab mentality.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not going to succeed, I'm going to make sure I bring your butt down.
Mm-hmm.
So they will keep pulling down and pulling down, that whole thing. So I don't even know if we as a magical community can even find one of us to vote in, because they'll be too busy going, oh, they're really great. Da, 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 da. Oh, no, they are. Da, 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 da. They'll be too busy ripping it apart. But by the time we're done, I don't know if we'll have anybody able to be elected. We're not that together. We're just not.
That makes
We're
me
too
sad.
busy taking down the, huh?
Well, it makes me sad because,
It does.
Goddess Star, in order for you to have achieved what you have achieved. Did I unmute myself? Because I hear myself talking. Let me make sure I'm still muted. Okay, yeah. It took a lot of hard work and discipline for you to learn your magic
Oh, yeah.
and do it effectively. And it makes me sad because I like to believe that we as magical beings, that we are more disciplined. It took a lot to learn how to do what we do and control and manipulate energies and things like that. It was hard work and it took discipline. It makes me sad that we cannot bring that over into the political arena or the business arena or things like that. That saddens me. But I do believe
Yeah.
that there are people who can do it if they were willing to step up. And who knows, maybe 100 years from now,
Maybe.
maybe we don't know what's going to happen. I do agree with you in that they should go back to having spiritual advisors. But for all we know, they already do, and Donut Head's just not listening to them. But we'll have to.
Either that, or like we know in the past, there were spiritual advisors that were either coerced or under duress or financially gaining. That's not good also, because they're basing their magic based on what they're being given, or manipulated, or under demands or duress of harm to them or their family in exchange for this kind of a thing.
Right.
It needs to be something. I remember once I think it was the old Wonder Woman show. Remember the one where they did of, I forgot the name of the guy, Andros, I think was his name, from another planet, and they were with the United something of Worlds panel or something like that, and they were judging Earth because to them man was very violent, and they already predicted that man was going to destroy the planet. So to save the planet, they were going to get rid of all man. And Andreas came from that planet, and Wonder Woman met the panel or something like that. And it was representative from all different planets. And they were making the decision based on what they see and all the facts presented to them. I like that. Whether we like the decisions they made or not, I like the fact that these people represented their people, and they did not have this one person making the judgment. I thought it was very much futuristic, and that was what it was meant to be. In the future of people, there was no one president. It was a panel, and they made the decisions for the world to decide, I guess kind of like United Nations, but a smaller group and representing everyone's interest to make sure that things stay for the good of the planet, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be wonderful.
I do too. I do too. All right, let's talk about some more comments here that we have. I just said that from them. Okay, so then we have Monica who says, Truth Goddess Rhonda, thanks, Monica baby. And Prayer Warriors. We also have Ellen who says, you're absolutely right. Monica who says, our kind of casting spells for political figures. Ellen says, did you see the doll of Trump with the pimp stuff?
Yes, I did. I saw that. I thought that was cool. Because I was just like, man, you have no idea what some of we have met a few of them, remember? A few Haitian voodoo priestesses. And I'm sorry, they're not playing. They don't play.
Yeah, they don't play. You don't want to mess with them.
They don't play around. They don't mess around like that. So to make statements that you have no idea, and you're already with your small hands and everything else, you don't know what else might get smaller and shrivel up. Based on these, I'm just like, that you can sit back and hide behind all the federal agents and secret agents and your dick. Oops, excuse me.
Now tell it like it is, goddess. Tell it like please.
And then next thing you know, you're running screaming through the house. What happened? Where is it? It disappeared.
I have to take a sip behind that.
I can just see them tweeting on Twitter. I don't know what happened.
I'm raising my glass to you for the. I raised my glass.
I'm sorry, but I was just like, all I can do is think about that as it happened, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. That was funny.
Okay, so then we have our darling Monica saying you can be punished by corporate system. Customers complain if you say something and HR drags you. Been there, done that as a tarot reader and astrologer. This is true.
Yeah.
When you step up and represent yourself, there are people, when you step up and represent yourself, and Goddess Star and I are perfect examples. You try to step up, do the right thing, promote good things for witchcraft and everything else. And there are those people that want to grab you by your ankles and pull you down, back down the ladder.
The crab mentality.
That is very, very true. Monica also goes on to say Illuminati and Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, that's a fraternity. From what I remember, Bush said that he was in that. Skull and Bones employ magic, but for personal gain, not good people. And yes, Goddess Rhonda, they run things. I'm telling you, I believe, because the things that happen, there has to be witchcraft involved. So then we've got Jay Christine who says, oh, need this session. Monica's telling everybody, hey, am I the only one chatting? Everybody jump in. Good. So people are down jumping in.
Yes, please do.
Thanks, Monica, for getting everybody into this.
Yeah, because usually everybody's talking of a storm.
It's true. We have Ellen who says she's listening and agrees. with what we're saying. And Jay Christine says, and forgive me if I say this incorrectly, Atia Huasa lets you understand how it happens. I'll have to look that up. Thank you for, because I love to learn things. So thank you so much. And then she has it's ayahuasca. She puts the spelling. Let me just copy that and paste it into a browser so for later. So I can look at that later because I like learning about things. So I'll come back to that later. All right. So getting back to our chat room. Okay. Hello, I am here. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We have Orchid who says, yes, they have magical people for sure. And Monica points out, and this is true because it wasn't a secret, Ronald Reagan had an astrologer on staff, but, you know, not working for the country, of course, working for him personally. But since he was running the country, they were still working for the country. But still, he did. At least I was actually glad that at least someone had the sense to get some really good advice based on something like astrology, because astrology is tried and true. So at least he had that much brains in his head to do that. Jay Christine says, we are the magician, and I am here says that's absolutely on point. Jay Christine says, third dimension world work is becoming passe. That makes me it is kind of becoming passe. And Ellen says it's the balance, good versus evil. If there wasn't, there would be no need for our existence. Just saying, and it's true. Jay Christine says we must work in dimensions up or down. Now it takes a different skill than the classic, which were, by the way, this is a year for mastery because 2018 equals 11. So whatever it is you're trying to master, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Monica says, cheers, goddesses. Shrinkage is real. Let's raise a glass to Monica. Shrinkage is real. Absolutely.
It is. I have seen so many things.
It is really true. All right. I think we've beaten this topic to death.
Okay.
So let's move on to our next random question, which is, are witch hunters still a threat in 2018? Now, there's a reason I brought this up.
Yep.
Because typically when I look online, and I'm going to find the link right now as I talk to you, typically when I look online about witch hunters, because it's something that interests me and I like to check and see what the heck is going on our side of the table to see what's happening, I watched the Discovery ID channel, which as a single woman, I probably should not watch that channel because it's all true crime shows with mainly, I mean, there's other people too, men and children, but the bulk of the victims are women who hooked up with crazy people online, or their husbands went crazy, or whatever. But I will pay particular attention to shows that are in New York, Long Island, where I'm from, and also in New Mexico, where I live. And so there was one on, I think it was Murder in the Heartland. That's what it was. It's Murder in the Heartland. And it was about a situation that happened in Taos. And it was entitled Witch Hunter. And so I was like, well, I'll look at that one. I want to see what that's all about. Now, Taos, New Mexico is approximately 3 hours from where I am. And so it's fairly close. And so I wanted to see what this was about. Now, Taos is up north. It's more of a ski community. And so it's not a place that I would go because, I don't like, I don't particularly care for the winter. But in the summertime, it's very, very beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And there are parts of it that are very, very rural where people will go to live. It's almost like on an old time, whoops, I turned on ID. Yeah, turn that back. It's almost like the old time hippies in the 60s, where there are people that are living out of abandoned buses and, trailers or just pitching tents. But it's a very tight knit community where they all take care of each other there. And so there was this one young lady, she was only 33 years old.
Sorry.
And what she would do, that's okay. What she would do is she would make sure everyone was taken care of. Every Thursday, she would load up her cart with groceries and go around to people and hand out foods to the people wherever they were. And there was this one woman in particular who was an older lady. I won't say quite elderly, but she was up there. And she was freezing, I guess, because she had no heat from how she was living. This woman warmed the older woman up with her own body heat, refused to leave her, hugged her until she got warm, rubbed her feet, warmed her up, refused to leave her until she was warm and comfortable. This just goes to show you how big-hearted and kind this woman was. And she lived in an abandoned bus with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was very kind as well. And he would let people camp on his land with tents and things just so that everyone would have a place to stay. Well, one Thursday, she went ahead and she did her usual routine. She loaded up her cart, took it to all of the different people, made sure everyone was taken care of. And the same elderly lady who she warmed up offered her a ride. Said, "Let me ride you back to give you a ride back to your place." She goes, "No, it's a beautiful day. I'm just going to walk." And she was never seen again. And then eventually some hikers found her body in the mountains, and she had been shot, burned, and her hands were cut off. And no one could understand why this happened because this woman did nothing but try to help and make sure everyone was provided for. So the whole community was very up in arms. Well, it turns out that one of the men that her boyfriend gave permission to camp on their land did this to her. And everyone was like, "Why would you do this? She's never did anything to you." Well, when the police searched his tent, he had all these pictures that he had drawn of him killing people, and he signed it the witch hunter. Well, he had found out this young lady, as it turns out, was wicked. She was a witch. And he found out she was a witch and felt that he had to kill her in the manner that you kill witches. You burn them and you cut their hands off because it was his responsibility. And then, what if she cast a spell on him and there shouldn't be witches in the world? And so he killed her. This was only, and he got sentenced in 2016. Technically, we're just starting 2018, so that was only like a year ago. I think it happened in 2015. So between the last 2 years, this has happened. And as I'm watching this, and my mouth was hanging open because I could not believe that in this day and age, that someone, not because you did anything wrong to them or you cast a spell on them or you were doing evil works, in fact, this woman was an angel. Because she was a witch, that was all she needed was the title witch, he burned her and cut her hands off. And that actually was a big wake-up call because Taos is so close to me. And it makes me wonder, well, how many other people out here are looking to do us poor witches in? And so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, and I think of that show Supernatural and all these other things where people, in the show Supernatural, eventually, if you guys watch it, if you were a magical being, they pretty much killed you regardless. Oh, you're a witch, up, you got to go, or this way, without even saying anything, really investigating what was going on. Of course, the ones in the shows, they were doing mean things, but for the most part, if you were branded a vampire or something else, you were out. And there was a point at some point later on in the series where they discussed it and realized that they killed people that were not necessarily bad people. They made a mistake. And so I was at least glad that they did that. But hearing the story, and I'll find the link as Goddess Star gives her comments, and I'll post it in the chat room. That was very startling for me and made me up my own security measures because I'm very public about who and what I do, as is Goddess Star. Goddess Star has been stalked. I'm currently being stalked by some weirdo. And so how much in danger are we with these witch hunters and people who just assume because we have the moniker of witch that we are these evil beings? How does that affect you, Goddess Star? Do you feel that as a public witch that you're kind of putting yourself out there with a target on your back?
I think I think that no matter what, we have a target on our backs. The only difference is we're very vocally public about it. But yeah, we in a way have set ourselves up to be that target in one form or another. But it's the reason why but I've been over the years, I've learned how to shoot. I've learned how to use what do you call it? The shooting arrows. I forgot what they call it. Um, I've learned how to shoot many different types of guns, swords, knives, kickboxing. It just feels like, in general, I need to learn how to protect myself. I don't think women should wait around for the guy or whomever to protect them. I think we need to be smart people at all times, be aware when we're walking, and don't keep our heads down. Don't we people say that, but witches are walking, we are realm walkers. We walk between the worlds and the realms, and we have to be aware of where we are at all times. Whether we put up our wards at all times and make ourselves be aware magically and physically, whatever it is, I think we need to be smart. The same way, the minute my husband, and I was always like that in some sort of a martial arts or bodybuilding or whatever. But the minute my husband passed away, I got even worse. Worse in the sense of I was learning more martial arts, more everything, any type of my fighting is all very dirty. My idea is I'm not here to play with you if I'm fighting for my life. I'm here to take you down enough for me to get away. I have no idea, and I really don't care how I do it either. I am not there to for finesse or looks or anything like that. My whole thing is hurt you because you came to hurt me. And I don't care what I do to you as long as you leave me alone. So whatever means you have to learn, get yourself licensed with guns, go and learn how to use said guns. Get yourselves knives, learn the rules, don't just go and get the guns and learn how to shoot. Learn the rules. What do you have to do that you don't get sent to jail for defending yourself? Because in this country, you can get sent to jail for defending yourself. So be smart about everything that you learn and do, and learn to protect yourselves. Pretend that you're that princess. You're that princess warrior that is the one that's always protecting everyone. You're not the one reaching out and going, "Oh, protect me." No, you're stepping forward and you're the one protecting. And that's the way you have to see things. You have to be that warrior. You have to be smart about everything. And getting that gun, getting that license, learning whatever you have to learn. Do you know that at one point, you see the wonderful athame that witches have? In this modern times, a lot of times we say that athame is not supposed to see blood. I hate to wake you guys up and tell you guys, initially that athame was used to protect us. We used it and drew blood with it. If you're coming up to harm us, the athame was put in insides of our clothing or whatever it is and drawn out to protect ourselves with. So women, our witches, were supposed to be learning how to protect themselves from forever, way back.
I never heard that. You're not supposed to get blood on your athame.
Yeah, it's supposed, well, modern times, witches have said it's not supposed to see blood or anything like that because it's meant as in not meant to do harm. And that's something that was more modern times coming forward. I know, honey, I'm telling you, I've heard this for many, many years. But going back, and honestly, I'm not looking to put blood on my athame, but if I have to use my athame and it's there, I'm gonna use it.
Oh, hell yeah. You know that.
I am using anything at my means because it's called protection of myself, protection of my kids, protection of my grandkids. That's what it's called in my head, or protection of me, mine, and my friends. The idea is to protect. It doesn't matter what's at your disposal, utilize it. It's simple.
I'm definitely.
And there's nothing to work around. There's nothing in your head, because that person is coming not to discuss whether you should work around it or not. They're coming to hurt you.
Right.
Otherwise, why would they be there? So, yeah, you got to become that badass. I don't care who you are. what size you are, your disability or your weakness. Use your weakness against them.
And if you have the attitude, and listen, no judgment here, but God is Star and I have done shows where we've discussed there really is no such thing as harm none. If you're doing something for yourself, someone else is going to do without that. Yeah. So, but aside from that, even if you are of that belief system, and if you are, hey, rock on, even though you believe in harm none, there are people who don't believe in that, and they will come after your behind. Especially, they're going to target you. They know you're not going to fight back because they're going to target who they feel are vulnerable. So do you think that, let's just say, even just a robber, a burglar, is going to come into the house of the person who's got a gun or a wand or an atome that they're ready to stab him in the neck with? Or would they choose to go to someone else who's going to try and talk them out of robbing them because they don't want to harm anyone? We all know who the robber's going to pick. So what you want to do is to remember, even though that's your belief, it's not everybody else's. And you better be able to defend yourself from those who have a different attitude about harming people. And, I remember when I was in high school, at that time I wanted to become an attorney. And I took this teen law class. And a police officer, Suffolk County police officer, came in to talk to us. And he said, let me tell you something. I will never forget this. I've never forgotten. I think I was like 15. And he goes, let me tell you something. He said, if you wake up and there is some strange person standing over you, kill them, because dead men tell no lies. That is what I'm like, dang, is that what you're supposed to tell us children? Let's kill people. But
yes.
As an adult, yes, because you can shoot somebody, if let's just say you saw someone coming in and you grabbed your gun and they ran and you shot them anyway, you can go to jail for shooting them because there wasn't any immediate threat. My attitude is, if you come up in my house, that's an immediate threat. If you're running, I don't know, maybe you're running to your car to get a gun. Maybe you're running to your car to get a knife. I don't know where you're running, but I'm going to shoot you. So I do agree, and I've taken another class. We have the Albuquerque Citizens Police Academy. You have to be careful, defend yourself. But again, dead men tell no tales. My attitude is, you come in, sorry, I'm going for the kill shot. I don't believe in just shooting you in the leg and hoping things get better. I'm going to kill you because I'm going to assume you came there to kill me. And that's the way it is. But I do think that we as witches, because of this story, I do think we do need to amp up our games and really look into that kind of defense, to be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the people that want to friend you on Facebook. I used to just, people would want to friend me and I would just say, oh, okay, and friend everybody. Now I'm very, very particular about who I friend, because you don't know if they're spying on you, if they're stalking you, if they just want to see what you're doing or get information from you. Call me paranoid, but we do have to be very careful, because there are people that do not want to see us grow in power. There are people that are just straight up crazy. And there are people, they don't care if you're a witch or not. They just want to do you in because you're a woman or because they want what you have or whatever. They don't give a rat's ass about your spirituality. There are people that are targeting us from our spirituality or from just being a single woman or whatever. And that show really, that kind of really shook me up about that. Because here is this non-assuming woman who just was leaving with giving everybody their groceries and things like that. And here comes this guy who kidnaps her, forces her up into the mountains and kills her because she was a witch. And he doesn't deal with witches. Witches are supposed to be killed in his spirituality. So it is very important for us, I feel, as witches, as magical people, call yourself what you like, to step up our game. But I also don't want that story to force witches to feel afraid to come out in public and say that they're witch, because there's strength in numbers. And if we let someone like this or people like this frighten us back into the closet, then they win. And I don't believe in that. I'm not going to shut my mouth or become any less. In fact, I'm planning on becoming more public, as public as I can possibly get. But I do think, though, with that said, that we do need to employ techniques and skills, not just magical techniques. I always have my black candle burning to keep adverse energies away and to protect the home, but also regular mundane things, guns, knives. Learn how to fight, learn how to defend yourself. Take classes. I'm trying to think of what they call it now. Of course, it's escaping me, but they teach you how to fight on your back. There's a word for it. I can't think of it right this very second.
Grappling?
But say again?
Grappling?
Yes, grappling. If you wake up and some guy jumps on top of you, you better know how to fight on your back. It's different. Fighting on your feet is different than fighting on your back.
Yes,
and so you want to learn how to take some grappling classes so that you can defend yourself, and then you can, you can still do your herbs and all your other protective things that you do. But we do need real life protection, also physical protection. So I say all this to say, and I brought this all up to tell us that we really do need to amp up our protection, like Goddess Star did, taking martial arts classes, gun classes, buy yourself a gun, buy a knife and become skilled with it. Learn how to defend your own turf, because there are crazy people out there, and you never know. According to, and I put the article in there, this man stalked this girl, followed her around, and she had no idea because she wasn't looking for it. She just felt, I guess, the world was a nice place like she was. And unfortunately, that proved not to be the case. He had things where she was on certain days and times and things like that he was following her around. You never know who is out there and who's watching. And so just be careful, not only just as a magical person, but just as a person, especially if you are a woman. I'm telling you, if you watch this, if you ever want to scare yourself into preparing for something, watch the Discovery ID channel with all of their Web of Lies, Stalked, The Murderer, Who's Jane Doe. I mean, they put so many shows on there that by the time you've watched a couple of them, you're locking your doors, putting all your herbs out, and calling in the spirits from every direction to defend your house. But I do think that we can become lax in the areas of protection. Or we only, if we perceive a threat, then we'll do protection work. We should be doing protection work all the time.
All the time. Absolutely. And you mentioned some great things. Additionally, please be wise. Go to one of the police precincts and talk to them. Ask them, what are the laws regarding shooting a person, defending yourself in your home, all the different things. Learn, be smart about it. Learn simple things, as if you have a car, learn how to take care of your car yourself. So that if you're stranded somewhere with something wrong, whether you need to change a tire or whatever it is, learn how to do those things yourself. Because a lot of women have been hurt or killed asking for help from strangers with their car when it's broken down. Learn everything about your car yourself and learn how to repair it or fix it really quickly enough to get from point A to point Z away from where you are deserted. Learn all these things. It is smart to do so. There are many things about that the police can tell you that would protect you at home if you practice certain things so that you don't get charged with murder or different things. Be smart about it. Just be aware. And Goddess, look in the chat room. I think they mentioned some things about Tallahassee, where you're from, I believe.
I will. I'm gonna look at that in 1 second. I just wanted to add something to that. That if there's something, if you are physically unable to fix your own car, it's worth the $20 a year, whatever it is, to join AAA. I think it's $50 to join AAA.
I joined AAA. I don't even have my car yet, and I'm getting
AAA. Yeah. And also, there's an app I downloaded. It's called SafeTrek, SAFETREK. And what it is, if you feel like you're in danger, you press your finger against the button until you're out of danger. If your finger comes off the button, that means the other people on the other end, and it's only $2.99 a month. If you're walking in a strange place and people looking weird, you keep your finger on the button on your phone. And then if someone does something, you take your finger off, and that lets them know to call the police, and they can locate you through your phone. And it's only $2.99, and it's called SafeTrek. I'll put that in there. So if you walk city streets by yourself or take the subway or whatever at night, or buses or whatever, or you just feel in danger, you can get this app on your phone, and it'll let them know that you need help, and then they'll locate you and call the police or let the authorities know that you're in danger. So it's a cheap thing of security, if you, because I know that not everybody is physically able to fight back. And so there are things that you can do, or you can carry a pepper spray or a mace, something. Get something that you can do to protect yourself, or and getting this app is also something that you can do, and it's right on your phone, and it's an easy way that you can get some help for yourself. So I wanted to throw that in there, and it has a 30-day free trial as well, so you can even try it for 30 days, and then if you don't like it, you don't have to do it. All right, so here we go back into our chat room, and we've got Monica, who says, yes, ignorance causes witch hunters. Taos is where I grew up. They hate witches but love curanderas, which are healers using magic. Okay, somebody explain to me why, and I know, like I said in the beginning of the show, everyone has their own designation. I believe all curanderas, they're all witches to me, but they don't like the name witch, but they'll go to the Mexican name curandera for a witch that I feel is a witch, but they call themselves healers using magic. So that's true. So you have to be careful with that. And thank you for letting me know that, Monica, because I didn't know that they had that attitude up there. We have Ellen Johnson, who says, I love that show. I watch it every night because I know I'm going to learn something. It's true. And Monica says ignorance is abundant there. I guess she's talking about Taos. Jay Christine says, OMG. I know, I said the same thing when I was watching that. Debbie says, hi, goddess ladies. Can I request some health healing, dealing with pneumonia and lots of coughing? Oh my God, that story is so sad. For coughing, here's what I used to use for coughing, which I find works because I always would get, until I stopped taking flu shots. Every year I would get walking pneumonia or get a cold or flu so badly that I'd be right on the brink of it, not realizing it was caused by the flu shot. And what I would take, and I swear by, is black cohosh, a combination of black cohosh root, blue vervain, and comfrey. Now, what's going to happen when you take this is you're going to cough your lungs out for like 15 minutes, and everything is going to come up because it irritates the lungs to cough it up. And then after that, though, you are good to go. So it's annoying for like 10 or 15 minutes. But after that, your lungs are clear, and it really will clear. In fact, my first fiance had asthma really bad. And I would give him those pills, and it would stop his asthma attack. Because I would take the herbs, I get the empty capsules, and I would grind up the herbs and combine them and fill the capsules up for him. And so you could try that. Got it started. You want to add anything to that?
Oh yeah, I've used, and it's wonderful. But also you can add if you don't have it with you, like say for instance you're out and about and you don't have it with you, get some fresh basil leaves and chew on it. That also suppresses coughs a bit. So usually when my son leaves, and say for instance he's out and I tell him just buy some basil, he will chew on that, and by the time he gets home, majority of the cough is gone. So that works as well. Basil leaves and rosemary leaves are great as well. Rosemary, the little branches of it, and you chew on it, and it helps.
And you can pretty
it has
much
to be fresh.
Yeah,
exactly. So, any grocery store, all of them have the herbs now, so you can just chew on those. Of course, you have to rinse them off to get any dirt and stuff off, if there's any, because it's fresh herbs. But once you chew on them, they work. So that's wonderful to have those things.
Absolutely. Okay, so Jay Christine says in Africa they do stuff like that all the time, which is sad. In India as well.
Yeah.
They do that. Witch Fox used to post about that. Monica agrees that in Asia as well. Ellen says, yes, I remember that one murder in the Heartland 2 weeks ago. That's right. You can see it on demand. If you go to Discovery ID, you can see that it's Murder in the Heartland, and the episode is Witch Hunter. You can watch that online, but I also put the link to the article in the chat room so that you can take a look at that. Monica says they do this in some parts of South America. And Ellen is sending Debbie love and light for healing. Blessed be. Thank you, Ellen, for doing that. We send you love and light for healing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and it happens. You see, the thing is, we're saying all these other countries, and yes, that happens so very often there in these countries, because not too long ago, I've seen a few of them come out of Brooklyn and Queens, killing the among the Spanish. It seems to happen a lot, where the men kill the women, and they say, "Oh, she was a witch and she was casting a spell on me." It's in the last few years that has happened. So there, I don't know what it is exactly, or why it's suddenly becoming a rash all over again of this. Maybe it's the Christianity amping up. I have no idea. But they feel self-righteous enough that they think it's okay to kill witches, and that they'll be revered or honored, or they'll get away with it because it's a witch. They don't see you as a human being. They see you as a witch, nothing more.
And nothing more. Which is sad. So it
doesn't matter. And honestly speaking, it doesn't matter what name you go under. You're still a witch in their heads and in their eyes. So you can call it whatever name you want to call it. They see you as a witch, and that's the way they're going to deal with you. Okay.
And so it would appear that Goddess Monica likes to use a crossbow. You go, God. You know what? I'm raising.
Yes, there it is. The crossbow, girl. I forgot I was going like, with the yes.
Let's raise a glass to Monica and her crossbow. Yes. I love that.
Yes, Rhonda. Yes, Monica. Go for you, girl.
We raise a glass to you for that. Ellen, we've got, I'm just getting out of the hospital for sickle cell. Oh, I'm so sorry. But I'm glad you're home and safe and doing better.
Yeah.
J. Christine says you need your spirit weapons embodied in a physical item. That helps too, absolutely. J. Christine said she just had a bunch of fresh basil with my Thai food. I love that. I love basil with my Thai. It is so good. In fact, we have a restaurant here called Thai Basil. It is so good. Ellen says that yes, she has asthma and COPD also. This is good to know. Thanks. You're welcome. Loyalty makes you family says it's, what we were discussing is based on ignorance. I do agree with that. And I would like to, I know I've been making jokes and raising my glasses to everybody for various things, and rightfully so. But I really would like to raise my glass to the witch who was killed. Her name is Roxanne Houston. May her soul go on to a higher purpose, and may her
hold on. I'm pouring my wine. Hold on.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I'll wait for you.
Yeah. All righty.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. So going back to Roxanne Houston, we raise our glass to you. May your soul go on to a higher purpose, and may your bereaved be comforted. And we send you lots and lots of love and blessings to you wherever you are.
Wherever you are. Elysian Field. Welcome her.
Because she was like, that just really, she's only 33 years old, for Pete's sake. It's just, and a beautiful young girl as well. All right, so now let's get back to where we were. I just got to start. I kind of, we slay us. I'm going to say you and I slay me, because I'm like, today we're going to do our random questions, and we're going to go over all the superhuman things, and we've done 2 random questions. And I don't know what happens. I don't know. I know we get on get on our rolls and things like that. But you know what? We are who we are, and it's a good discussion. So let's do for our last discussion of these, because I know we're running late today. We're going to lighten up our mood, because we've been talking about some heavy things and some serious things. I would like to know, I should say we would like to know, what is your favorite form of magic, and
all right,
why? Why is it your favorite form? Now, I have to tell you, I'm still contemplating, because I love doing everything, but my go-to is typically candle and fire. That's just something
that's because you're a fire witch.
It's something I love to do. But I don't know, is that my favorite form? Because I do it all the time because it's strong and it works, and I love communing with fire. But I guess I have to really think about what is my actual favorite thing to do. What is your favorite form? I'm not talking about the one that your go-to form or the one that you always do because you're used to doing it. What is your favorite type of magic to do?
I'm kind of like you with the candle, and I like doing the light your ass up kind of a thing. So and it works
It does.
so well. Oh, girl, I'm just like light your ass up. um, and that was really one of my favorites for a long time. But you kind of grow so much that you develop these other gifts that become so overwhelmingly wonderful. It's you know that superhuman thing that you were talking about?
Uh-huh.
I've realized my I have become my adaptation. I'm back to that again.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that type of magic, honestly, because essentially I adapt to whatever is around me, whatever is at my disposal. So I'm kind of not stuck with one particular thing. It's a case of whatever the circumstances are and whatever is at my disposal, whatever it is at that time. That's my favorite because not, and I'm using the word favorite because favorite meaning that I guess in a way that the magic is me. My favorite magic is me because me adapting to any type of magic or any type of means that's around me based on circumstances. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So depending on whatever my situation is, whatever is at my disposal, I've learned to kind of use it, whether it's me, my mind, my that weapon that's a physical thing or whatever it is. Light their asses up with whatever I've got at my disposal.
I like that. I like that. And I especially like that it also shows what a resourceful witch you are because we have to be resourceful. We have to be able to improvise and do things. I like that. I think, so as you were talking, I've really been mulling it over in my head. And I think, at least for now, my favorite, I'm going to go with planetary magic because I really love planetary magic. It brings in the gods and goddesses, and I like to commune with them and get there. So
Yeah,
I'm
you're
going
good
to
at
go with,
that.
I
You're
really
very
like
good at that.
planetary
Yeah.
magic. So I'm going to go with planetary magic, but I incorporate a lot of fire and candle work in that because I also love fire. I just love it. I love the candles. I love dressing them. Just the whole ritual of getting
Yeah, yeah. I do.
together.
I do love doing that, and that has been my staple for many years. It's how I
Yeah,
got my apartment. It's how every major thing that I've ever wanted,
that's
stability
absolutely
wise,
true. That's
that's
true.
how I got my apartment and for very little money. That's how I got my car back then, and that's how I'm going to get it now. It's been my staple magic for getting me the big, stable things in my life.
Right. I agree with that because even with the planetary magic, I use the candles that go with that planet, and I don't know what it is about the fire, but it
Yep.
works. I love it, and it works beautifully for me. And that's not taking away from any other elemental magic or any other forms. I do lots of forms of magic. We're just talking about
No.
what is your favorite
Yeah.
one. So let's take a look and see if we've got any. Who we've got here.
Yeah, and tell us your favorite, okay? Because we'd love to hear it and why.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got Goddess Monica who says, LOL, no, no, I don't use a crossbow. I was remembering the word for goddess. That's okay. We gave you
But
a
thank you. I appreciate that because I was like, wait a minute, the one with the arrow but shoots, and then I could not remember what it was. But thank you for reminding me because that's one of my favorites. Again, you know why? Because I'm really good at guns. I was a very good sharpshooter with guns. So of course the crossbow is going to be something that I love because of again it's sight. I'm very good with my sight in terms of that. So I like that.
And
And it's silent.
Monica, for her protection, she has a big dog. Dogs work. Hey, go with the dogs. All right. Debbie likes sigil magic. See, I love sigil magic too.
Yay, nice. Yeah, that's a good one too. That actually, I incorporate sigil magic with my candle magic because I carve my sigils on the candle.
Right.
So it's a combination of things. That's a good reminder. Thank you, Goddess.
Thank you, Goddess, for that. Ellen loves candle magic. 1 second, my thing scrolled. Okay, it scrolled down too far. Okay, sigil magic, we said that. Ellen, candle magic. J. Christine likes sympathetic magic, makes a focal point. Monica says candles, intention with movement. J. Christine says it just helps our mind. 3D, people consciousness. We are the center of our universe and we command circumstances. Fear keeps people off. That's true. Monica says, I like blowing like blowing kisses, but to send intentions towards people. I like to do that with wishing powder. I put the powder or the herbs and blow it. I love that too. I'm sorry, scroll down again. Sometimes it'll scroll all by itself. J. Christine says, blocked my messages. I don't know. Does that mean are your messages blocked? Because I don't know how that happened. Orchid Girl says, I'm still discovering. Oh, wait, hold on. I wish it would stop scrolling. Okay. I am still new, discovering myself. Atta girl, take your time and discover what works for you. And then J. Christine says, it said I sent too many. Okay, I guess I was split. Merry meet again. I'm surprised that it would block your messages and say you sent too many. I don't know.
That makes no sense.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Because we've been putting all the time.
I've never seen it do that. I apologize. I don't know why it would do that.
I apologize for that too. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened with that. I'm really sorry about that, J. Christine. Ellen says, okay, gotta start. You touched on using the Atame. I drew blood using mine. It worked for me. Loyalty makes you family says, I'm still new, but studying shamanism. Good for you. Bad girl Riri says, hi. And how many of you practice magic? I think we all do here. Right now, I'm a little concerned about why one of our chat room people was blocked. That really annoys me. But
yeah. We'll find out. We'll find out
later.
Sorry about that, J. Christine girl. We'll see you again. Please don't always come on back.
That was wrong, and I'm sorry.
I don't even know. I've never had that happen before. I don't know. Okay. We'll have to figure that one out.
I don't know what happened, and I'm really terribly sorry about that. But anyway, all righty. So again, we are so glad that we got to get our show back up again, join with you, be with you, commune with you. We want you to have the most awesome new year ever, the whole year actually, to be awesome for you and bring you what you want. We've got the new moon tomorrow so that you can launch your intentions and resolutions and all those awesome things. And so,
don't forget, next show, we would love to try to bring back some of the resolution, like Goddess Rhonda said earlier tonight, to help us go along for the year, begin the new year with some of our resolutions and make it work out. All right? Yeah. That's awesome.
We're going to do that. Next week will be our resolution show and how to make them work for you.
Yeah.
And so, of course, with that said, we are always so grateful to our family, our YouTube family, our Priestess View family. We are so grateful for all of the comments that you give us in the chat room, for joining with us, for supporting us, for being here with us. It means the world to us. In fact, I love that that we come together and we share our ideas and we share magic, and it's just a beautiful thing. Don't you agree, Goddess Star?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why we felt so bad when J. Christine said she got blocked. And we will try to figure out what occurred and see what we can do to help that does not prevent that in the future.
To prevent that. Well, it says here, Monica says, typing too fast, it thinks you're spamming. So I guess it thought that she was a spammer and got blocked, but still, I don't think it has the right.
Yeah. We've had people comment like crazy all the way through the show, and we've never seen it do that. So But then we're realizing now a lot, like with Facebook, a lot of things change.
Yes, a lot of things are changing.
You know.
A lot of things are changing. And Bad Girl, I see you've got some questions, and I hope that you will come back to us next week so that we can address it, because we're pretty much done for right now. Once we get started again, we will have you guys sitting here till 1 o'clock in the morning, because we get on our rolls and we don't shut up. So what I'm going to do is right this very second, I am going to copy this so that we can address it for next week. So please come next week. Your question is, I'm scared to practice magic because I don't want to attract entities. Can anyone explain to me about that? So I'm going to copy and paste that into the notes so I remember for us to address that. And before we go, Loyalty says, I use Jetstones. They help me greatly. Excuse me. Debbie says, I love you both. We love you too, sweetheart. I'm sorry that we had our little things going on. And also, Orchid says, are you doing a show for the new moon? I'm doing an online ceremony on Wednesday. Got a star with her temple in New York. She always does something for the different sabbats and esbats and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can take a look at her page and check that out if you're in the New York area. Or you can subscribe. I think the best thing to do is to go to our Facebook pages and follow us or like our pages so that you can see the events that we post, and then you'll know what we've got coming up as well. And you can also just subscribe to our events too. So we've got all that. So with all that said, we love you to pieces.
Merry part, everyone.
Merry part.
And merry meet again.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Namaste.
Yes, love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.